So last Sunday, we began our March theme, the flow of coming and going, and we are following CSL's global themes and topics this month. Our message was navigating the tides of life, and our principle for March is the law of flow. And our spiritual practice is stillness and movement. Because in the flow, there is stillness and there is movement. So I want to remind us of the metaphysical context of flow and navigate. Flow represents the natural harmonious movement of energy within and around us. It signifies a state of effortless alignment with one's purpose and going with the natural current of life without resistance. And navigate represents the act of finding your way through life's challenges and complexities by relying on inner guidance, intuition, or a higher power, essentially steering your spiritual journey towards a desired goal or state of being. So, this is how we get to be in the flow of coming and going. So, in preparation today for the service, please have something to write with and something to write on, because we're going to be doing a process today. Last Sunday was extraordinary for me in service because I got to hear from you all, those of you who shared, Fee, Rev Jones, Susie, and Kristen, share how they are navigating the tides of life right now. And I love hearing from our community. And so we're creating more opportunities for that to happen in our Sunday service. So as I said, today our message is the still small voice. And I think most of us are familiar with that term. Yes, the still small voice. Everyone's familiar. Wonderful. So the first question I have for you is, are you engaged with the still small voice within you? Are you engaged with it? So one of the things that the still small voice shared with me as I prepared today's talk was, instead of talking about the still small voice, let's experience the still small voice. And so we're going to do that this morning. And I just want to share a couple of words with you just to start grounding ourselves in that energy again, the energy that Chris so beautifully prepared for us in the meditation. So Ernest Holmes writes, "We can train our ears to listen to the divine harmony within, that we shall reproduce its melody, rhythm, and beauty in all our ways." So we get to train our ears, our inner ear, our spiritual ear, to listen to the divine harmony within. And I love the way that Ernest describes it as a divine harmony. That's how it feels. It feels like a harmony. It feels sweet. It feels soft. That's how we know it is the still small voice. Your still small voice will never yell, will never be angry with you. It comes in love, as love, because that is what it is. So when people ask, how do you know it's the still small voice? Or if it's just the chatter in my mind, or if it's my ego, check in with yourself. Feel, what does it feel like? And that will give you an indication. Joe Goldsmith writes in The Thunder of Silence, "Let us never fear an image in our mind, whether that image is a person, a disease, or even a bomb, or even a Zoom bomber." That's that still small voice in the midst of us is mightier than all of these. And if we can become so silent that the voice can utter itself, even if only as a deep breath, or a sense of peace or warmth, this earth will be filled with the voice of God. And so in the Christian faith, this is Lenten season. And one of the aspects of Lent is to release, to fast. And one of the questions in Michael Bernard Beckwith's life visioning process is, what must I release to align with God's vision for my life? And so that is the question that we will be asking today. And we'll be tuning in to listen to what our still small voice has to say about what it is that we need to release. And so let us just breathe and take in that knowingness of the voice of God, the voice of God, that still small voice. Let us take a breath and just allow yourself to settle into this moment even deeper. Allow the air to fill your lungs. Release any tension or distractions. And we just breathe. And as we breathe, we gently shift our focus inward, allowing your breath to guide you into the deeper stillness within yourself. That stillness that is always present. The innermost sense of who you are is inseparable from the stillness of the indwelling spirit. And so imagine descending into the depths of your heart as a representation of love consciousness itself. Be within where the still small voice resides. This voice is a sacred guide, ever present, always willing to speak to you in the language of love and wisdom. The still small voice awaits your recognition and your cooperation. You commune with the divine within and listen deeply to the whispers of your soul. This still small voice is the very essence of your being, calling you to your highest potential and guiding you along your unique path. Take a breath and listen. Listen to the voice of love. Listen to the voice of God within you. Listen to the texture of the tone. The still small voice is the eternal voice forever whispering in your ear. No other voice can compete. And we breathe. The still small voice is always speaking, always guiding, always loving. And so we ask the question and we go within to hear the answer from our still small voice. What must I release in my life that no longer serves me? What must I let go? What must I release? And we listen. And we go inward. And let us be here, listening to the still small voice. And we go into the silence. And staying in this place, staying with the voice, I invite you to just write down what has come forth. Staying in this place, Just open your eyes and write down what has come forth. What must I release? When you're finished, just go back within, close your eyes. Take a breath. And we still are listening. As I ask the question again, but with a different meaning. When we think of releasing this time, we think of releasing our gifts, our qualities, what the world needs now. What are you willing to release into the world that it needs now? What quality, what gift are you willing to release to give in service to the world now? And we listen to the still small voice that whispers the answer. And we go into the silence. And now you can write what's come forth, staying in this space, this energy. If you haven't already done so, you can write it down. Let us take a breath. And when you feel ready, you can slowly open your eyes, staying in the energy, carrying with you any insights or revelations that came forth. And we just breathe. Carrying any revelations from this sacred communion and trusting that the still small voice will continue to guide you as you navigate the tides of life. And we breathe. We slowly come back to this space. Open your eyes if you haven't already. Let's take a breath together. And one more. So I'd like to give anyone who would like to share the opportunity to do so. And the answer to the question that I would invite you to share is the second one. Because the first release is done. It's gone. We released it. We let it go. No need to talk about it anymore. So the second, what are you willing to release? Your gifts, your talents. Chris?
I was thinking compassion, and then what really clearly came through was relief. That I have tools and ways of creating great relief for people, and that I've got to share more and more of that.
Yes, the world certainly needs relief. Yes, thank you, Chris. You can just unmute and share. I see Sue said love and unity in the chat. Yes, yes, Sue.
For me, it was my connection to nature animals and trees and other beings. My vision, my particular sight, and how I hear things, and the ability to connect dots, and make parallels. So I need to share that.
Beautiful. Sharing connection. Yes. Beautiful, Roxanne. Anyone else would like to share? I see Shay. Simply love. Just simply love. Yes, yes, yes. You just unmute and share or write it in the chat. If you're with us on Facebook, you can write it in the comments.
I kind of got just this idea of just being present for this feeling tone. It was like almost like a balm, like a healing balm that came over me. It was pretty wild. I really appreciated this special time today, Rev. Thank you. Of just being in that silence. It was really profound.
Thank you, Kristen. That's what happens when you listen to the still small voice. I had a whole nother talk, and the still small voice said, no, no,
Well,
let
it's
us
kind
be
of
still.
funny because it's to do it on my own, quite honestly, to be that still for that long, it's challenging. And we weren't even still for that long, in essence. But having you kind of guide us and saying, okay, now it's time to sit down and pay attention. Sometimes I respond well to that.
Some direction, right? And guidance. Yes, yes. That's what we can do for each other in community. Susie said loving kindness, compassion, and sharing resources. Yes, Susie. And I love how the light is streaming in your little box there, Susie. It's beautiful. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Yes, Shay. Yes. Anyone else would like to share? Cheryl said, be example of faith. Yes, yes. Faith in God and faith of God. We get to be that example in the world.
Mine relates to is basically hope and another vision of the future.
Yes, hope. Yes. Thank you, One. Let's be a beacon of hope in this world that can sometimes seem hopeless, but we know the truth. We have faith. We are love. We are the connection between the spaces. Yes. Anyone else? Okay. So thank you
You
all
have
for,
wisdom and courage. You have wisdom and courage in there.
oh, thank you. Wisdom and courage. Thank you. So I want to end with this, I guess it's a love poem that came through when I walked myself through this process. So I invite you to just go within, take a breath, and take this in as our spiritual mind treatment today. It's called the voice of God. The voice of God, the voice of love, spirit within me and within you. Listen. I listen to the still small voice within. I listen to the voice of God. I listen to the voice of God proclaiming, I am that which thou art. Thou art that which I am. I listen to the still small voice within. I listen to the texture of the tone. I listen to the sound that leads me home. It's the voice of God. Instead of complaining, I am still with a still small voice. Instead of fearing, I am still with a still small voice. Instead of doubting, I am still with a still small voice. Instead of absorbing the world's noise, I absorb the quiet of the still small voice. Recognize the still small voice as the voice of God that dwells within. Recognize the still small voice that permeates all spaces. Recognize the still small voice that shows us where to go, when to go, and what to do when we get there. The still small voice is the eternal voice forever whispering in my ear. The still small voice speaks supremely and directs clearly. The still small voice is the life vest when the tides get rough. I wait until I hear the still small voice. It restores my strength. I make it a habit to keep going within. It renews my mind all of the time. The still small voice is heard in the stillness. Get quiet, listen, go within. Be quiet, listen, go within. Be still and know and repeat. Stay still and know. Be still and know that I am God. God as me. God as you. That still small voice, the voice of God, so precious, so loving. No other voice can compete. It is the voice of God. Be still and know the voice of God. And so it is. Amen. Peace and blessings, everyone.